So this video is going to go through the bottom question on page 7 of the DCG book. So it tells a pictorial drawing of a solid is shown in figure 1.17, which is here. Part 1, draw an elevation of the solid viewed in the direction of ROA. So you can see ROA is pointing towards the left. We're going to have drawn the left hand side. Part 2 then says project a plan. So the plan always goes below the elevation. Part 3 then, draw an end elevation viewing the direction of ROB. ROB is pointing towards the right hand side, so we're going to draw it to the right. And then part 4 then, project a new elevation that will show the true shape of surface A. So that cut surface is what we want to see. So for this question here, we're going to position the plan and the elevation on the bottom left of our page so that we have plenty of space that when we draw an auxiliary view going out this way, that's going to fit. So to start off, I'm going to draw in my 3 boxes to fit in my elevation, plan and end view. So once again, I'm going to keep it low down in the bottom of the page. So for my plan, I can see that the depth of it there is going to be 60 mil. And the width of my plan is 90 plus 30, which gives me a 120. So that's the box for my plan to fit in. Put a small gap between my 2 views. And for my elevation, the height of my elevation is 45 plus 30 plus 15, which is 90 mil in total. And the last thing then is drawing a box for my end view. So taking the widths from my plan, across, and then where I hit the XY line, we take them straight up, like that there. And I'll mark in my XY line as well. Just like that. So now I have my 3 boxes. I can see that my elevation, end view and plan are all going to fit in the page. Next thing it is drawing in what I can see. So for my elevation, I'm going to draw the backwards L shape there first. I'm going to draw this side here and then what I can see there for that curve. So we know from class, part of the question we can't actually fill in the elevation because we need some of the plan to help us. But we have our 30 going across there, straight line up, and the height for that is going to be 45 mil. Take that lightly across there all the way. Excuse me. The height of the lower part is 15 mil up from the ground. There's our height there. Take that line across. And I can now draw that outline there. So you can see what I'm trying to do is break it down into parts to make it easier to draw. On the left hand side, it goes up the extra 30 there. And that goes across where this 80 line at the top where it meets it. So I'm taking this line across and it stops where I go 80 from the top right. So I take 80 back there. Take it down to meet it. The last bit I have then is, for now, I can connect this corner to this corner, which is here to here. For the curve, it's been cut, so for now I can't draw it in. I'll need my other views to get it. So for now, that's all I can do for my elevation. I'm now going to draw my plan below that. So at all my widths, I can take them all down, like that there. And then I have my depths. I have my 45 going back here for the radius of my curve. And that's the only distance I need for now. So the outline of this, the rectangle, is all heavy like that there. And then what I have is, I have in my plan, this point at the back connecting to that point at the front. So it's in 30 there, 80 there. There's my 30 in there. And there's my 80 that I went across there. So I'm connecting that point there to that point there. Like that. And now what I have is, I know where this line going across here is going to stop at that point. And that is my plan now complete. For my end view, I'm looking in the direction of arrow B. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to draw this little section here and then focus on getting this section at the back then. So I can see from my measurements, it's up 45 to there. And then I have that angled line that connects to my 15mm height. So now what I have is that bit there is drawn. I can see that I go up this height then to my 45, which is up here. And then I have a 45mm arc being drawn in there, a quarter circle. So I take that up there, to my 45. And I set my compass to my 45mm there. And I swing an arc. Like that. I'll just go over it heavy, make sure it blends in well with the rest of the question. And that can then go across and down. So there's my surface A. Just going to shade it in there. So there's my surface A there. It's going to be somewhere over here, but I have to draw that curve. And surface A then is what I see looking in that direction there. So, excuse me, to finish off the elevation, I need to then get my curve, because it's cut at an angle. It's not going to be a perfect quarter circle there. It's going to be a stretched out curve going from this point to this point. So the first thing is always when we're getting a curve, we're getting points, we divide up into 30-60. So 30-degree set square there, 60-degree set square there. And what I'll do is I'll label them as 0, 1, 2, and 3. So what I need to do is find those points in plan, project them up to my elevation and across. So 0, for example, it's somewhere along that line there. To find it in my plan, I take it down, I use my 45 for the rest of this. Take it across the 45, you can see it hits that point there. Across and it stops there, so I'm going to put 0 there as well in my plan. I take it up then to meet it. There's point 0. Same again for 1. 1 goes across. It goes down to the ground, 45 degrees. Across to hit the cut. It hits the cut at that point there. I take it up then, and it hits the height of 1 there at that point. Same with 2. 2 goes down, across the 45, across to hit the cut there at that point, straight up, and 2 goes across to meet it. There. Last point then is point 3. Already have the height taken across, follow it down, follow it over, follow it across. Hits there, straight up, meets there. And then what I can do is, I can connect them together and draw a nice, neat curve. And the aim of the curve as always is to be one continuous line. Just like that there. And there we have then, it's a true shape. Not the true shape, our cut surface A. Our true shape we're going to get with our auxiliary next. So that's what we want to get. A view now that we see these two surfaces as a true shape. And we know when we look in perpendicular to that, we're going to see that as a true shape. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 2 lines perpendicular to that. And what I tend to always do is go at the 2 widest points first. So I have this point here. That's the furthest point off to the left. And this corner here is the furthest point off to the right. So you'll be using your adjustable set squares. I just use the sliding set squares for this. I'm going to extend them up then. Like that there. And now I'm going to draw my new x1, y1 just outside the end view here. I don't want to draw it within the view, otherwise it'll just make it really messy. So I line up my 90-degree edge there. I can slide it back and I can just go right from there. I should have enough height in that. I label this my x1, y1. So you can see there, they're perpendicular to each other. Our cut there is parallel to x1, y1. Everything else is taken back perpendicular. And what we're doing now is we're drawing a new elevation. So you imagine you forget about that one and that one. If you're to turn your page around at an angle, there's our plan, and we're going to draw a new elevation up here. Now as always, we have to remember we go 2 views back to get our points. So for an auxiliary elevation, 1 view back goes into our plan, 2 views back into our elevation. So we're going to get our heights from here and apply them over here. So just like we did in class, I'm going to break this down to parts. I'm going to first of all focus on this shape here, and then I'm going to focus on this shape and keep working up until I complete the whole drawing. So what I'm going to do now is, just so it's easier to see when we're actually doing it, I'm going to just draw a quick sketch down here of the object. And the reason for that is I want to label the corners so that you can see which one connects to where. It's important to label them to make it easier for yourself. Let's go a bit higher with that there. Right here. So the object looks something like that there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to label my points to help me with it. So I want to go A, B, C and D. So when I look in this way, because there's my cut shape there, I can see those 4 corners. So in my plan, what I have is I have A and B on the back corner here, looking down on top. There's A and B. In my elevation, A is there, B is there. When I look down my plan again, C and D are at the front. So I have C and D there. C is on the ground there, D is above it, up there. So A and B, I already have that line taken up. I'm going to extend that out now. So the way I always take my heights, I use my compass and I follow my points down. So A is actually on the ground, I follow it down, I follow it up, there's point A. The height for B is that height there, follow it down, follow it up, there's point B. Now we do the exact same with points C and D. So C is on the ground there, follow it down, follow it up, there's point C. The height for point D is this height here, follow it down, follow it up. And I can connect them together. A connects to B, B connects to D, D connects to C, like that. Next thing I'm going to focus on is this backwards L. So I have A, B, C, D, and I'm going to go E, F, G, and H. Same thing again in the plan. F and E are the very bottom front corner here. Follow it up. E is on the ground there. F is up there. When I look at G and H from the front, there's G, happens to be on the same point as 3, and H there. Follow it down, there's G and H there. Now I need to take them up and apply the same method again. So I'll take up G and H there and extend it out that bit further. So you'll find it's a lot easier using these sliding sectors for this. Now points E and F. E is on the ground there. Follow E down, follow it up. There's point E. F is this height here. Follow F down, F up. There's F there. And the same with G and H. G and H both happen to be off the ground. So the height of G is the same as F. Follow it down, follow it up. The height for H. Follow it down, follow it up. And we label them. So I have E, F, G, and H. Connect them together. E connects to F, F to G, G to H, and H joins back across to D over there. So now I've completed this side of it. Next thing I'm going to do is focus on this side here, going across, up and over, and then I'm going to do my curve. So I'm going to call this point I, this point J, and that point K. So I find them in the drawing. I is on the same height as B here. J is above it, K is beside it, which happens to be the same as O. Do the same in my plan. There's I, there's J, follow K down, there's K on the same point as O. Take them up. And do the exact same thing again. Take the height of I, which happens to be the same as B. Follow I down and up. There's point I. The height of J. Follow it down, follow it up. And then K. There's point K. Same height as J. Follow it down. And I'm going to take a line for that. K is on that point there. I can see that B connects to I to J, and J across to K, like that. So you can now see the outline I'm starting to get. Also I have I connects to H there, which I can draw in here as well. And what I've now completed is this surface here. Now the curve, the same way as we did before, taking points 1, 2 and 3. I can label 3 and same as G there, and K and O are on the same point there from earlier on. So now I want to get points 1 and 2. So C and D there, line it up for 1, up to there, And I'll take 2 as well up with me. So the height of 1, there it is there. Follow it down, follow it out. There's point 1. And then 2. There's the height of point 2, follow it down, follow it out. And then I have point 3 there, and same thing again. Connect them together, and then go over it after heavy. And now what I have is the true shape of surface A. And that's what I wanted to get. So I'm going to finish off the question, but the key thing I have here now is we've got the TS, which is true shape of A. That surface there is the main thing I want to get. And what I'm going to do is just finish off this question here. So the last little bit then is the bit that's going to go across here so we can see this surface. So the next point,